The massive ship Sovereign's Glory floated in the darkness of space like a metal mountain. Its hull stretched for miles, covered in weapons and armor that could destroy entire worlds. Inside the command center, Admiral Kreshtar stood looking out at the stars. His blue skin glowed softly in the dim light, and his 4 arms moved across the control panels with practiced ease. The Zephyrian Empire had ruled the galaxy for over 1,000 years. They had conquered hundreds of worlds and enslaved dozens of species. No one had ever been able to stop them. Admiral Kreshtar had personally led the conquest of 23 worlds. He was one of the Empire's greatest military leaders. A soft chime echoed through the command center. "Admiral, we have an incoming transmission from Scout Captain Velinara," announced Lieutenant Zexter from his station. Admiral Kreshtar turned his attention to the main screen. The image flickered to life, showing Captain Velinara's worried face. She was young for a Zephyrian, only 60 years old, but she was one of their best scouts. Her ship was small and fast, designed to slip into enemy territory undetected. "Admiral, I have completed my reconnaissance of the Sol system," Captain Velinara said. Her voice was shaking slightly. "I must report that the humans may be more dangerous than we initially believed." Admiral Kreshtar's eyes narrowed. "Explain, Captain." Velinara took a deep breath. "Sir, I spent 3 months observing the third planet, which they call Earth. The humans appear primitive on the surface. Their technology is crude compared to ours. They have barely achieved faster-than-light travel. But Admiral, there is something very wrong about these creatures." "Wrong how?" Admiral Kreshtar asked, his voice showing his impatience. "Their behavior, sir. I watched them in their military training exercises. I saw soldiers continue fighting with injuries that would kill most species. One human female named Lisa Grant carried a wounded comrade for over 20 miles through hostile terrain. She did not stop, even when she was bleeding and exhausted." Admiral Kreshtar waved one of his arms dismissively. Primitive creatures often display such desperate behavior when facing death. "But it was not desperation, sir," Captain Velinara insisted. "It was determination. I also observed a human male named Pete Morris. His communication equipment was completely destroyed during a training exercise. Instead of giving up, he built a new one using spare parts and pieces of metal he found on the ground. In less than 3 hours, he had created a device that worked better than his original equipment." The Admiral's expression grew more annoyed. "What is your point, Captain?" Captain Velinara's image flickered as she leaned forward. "Sir, I believe these humans become more dangerous when they are in trouble. Every time I expected them to give up, they found a way to succeed. They do not think like us. They do not follow logical patterns. When faced with an impossible situation, they create solutions that should not exist." "You are being foolish," Admiral Kreshtar said harshly. "I have read the reports. These humans have small ships with weak weapons. Their cities are undefended. They have no shields, no energy weapons, no proper military discipline. They are exactly what they appear to be, a primitive species that will surrender the moment they see our fleet." Captain Velinara's face grew pale. "Admiral, please listen to me. I observed their reaction to a natural disaster. A large earthquake destroyed one of their cities. Instead of fleeing, thousands of humans rushed toward the danger to help others. They worked for days without rest, pulling survivors from the wreckage. They shared their food and water with strangers. They refused to abandon anyone." "That proves they are weak and emotional," the Admiral replied. "They waste resources on the useless and injured." "No, sir," Captain Velinara said urgently. "It proves they are willing to sacrifice everything for each other. A species that will not abandon its weakest members will never abandon its homeworld. They will fight until the very end." Admiral Kreshtar had heard enough. "Captain, you have been in space too long. You are seeing threats where none exist. The humans are a primitive species with primitive weapons. We have conquered species far more advanced than these creatures. File your report and prepare for the invasion." The transmission ended. Admiral Kreshtar turned to his staff officers. "Begin preparations for the conquest of the Sol system. We will send 3 dreadnoughts and 50 support vessels. That should be more than enough to handle these primitives." Far away on Earth, Lieutenant Colonel Jake Martinez was studying strange readings on his computer screen. The sensors had detected unusual energy patterns in the outer solar system. The signatures were unlike anything in their database. "Dr. Foster, can you take a look at this?" He called out. Dr. Amy Foster walked over to his workstation. She was a xenobiologist who had spent years studying the possibility of alien life. Her colleagues often joked that she was too paranoid about alien threats, but Jake respected her knowledge. "These energy patterns are not natural," Dr. Foster said after studying the data. "They look like the signatures of advanced spacecraft." "Engines, Jake, I think something is out there," Jake frowned. "How advanced are we talking about?" "Far beyond anything we have," Dr. Foster replied. "These readings suggest technology that is centuries ahead of ours. We need to alert the Defense Council immediately." But when they brought their concerns to Earth's military leaders, they were dismissed. General Harrison looked at their data for less than 5 minutes before closing the file. "Probably just solar flares or cosmic radiation," he said. "We have more important things to worry about than imaginary aliens." Dr. Foster left the meeting feeling frustrated and worried. She had a bad feeling that something terrible was coming. But no one would listen to her warnings. Meanwhile, in the depths of space, Admiral Kreshtar was planning the conquest of humanity. He had no idea that he was about to make the biggest mistake in the history of the Zephyrian Empire. The humans were not the helpless prey he believed them to be. They were predators waiting to be awakened. 6 months after Captain Velinara's warning was ignored, the Zephyrian fleet arrived at Earth. 3 massive dreadnoughts led the attack force, each one the size of a small city. Behind them came 50 smaller warships, their weapons charged and ready to destroy any resistance. Admiral Kreshtar stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching Earth grow larger on the main screen. The blue and green planet looked peaceful and defenseless. No orbital defenses, no shield generators, no massive weapon platforms. Just a primitive world waiting to be conquered. "Begin the attack," Admiral Kreshtar ordered. "Target their major population centers, New York, London, Tokyo, and Mumbai. Once they see their cities burning, they will surrender quickly." The Zephyrian ships moved toward Earth like hungry predators. Their plasma cannons began charging with deadly energy. This would be easy, just like all their other conquests. But something was wrong. Instead of panic and chaos, the humans responded with organized resistance. Warning sirens blared across every continent. Military bases came alive with activity. Fighter jets launched from hidden airfields. Ships emerged from underwater bases that the Zephyrians had never detected. Captain Ben Clark commanded the Earth Defense Force ship Defiant. His vessel was small compared to the alien dreadnoughts, but it was fast and maneuverable. More importantly, it was crewed by humans who refused to give up. "All ships, this is Captain Clark," he announced over the communication channel. "The aliens think we are easy prey. Let us show them how wrong they are." The first battle began over New York City. Zephyrian fighters dove toward the city, their energy weapons lighting up the sky. But human interceptors met them in the air. The human pilots flew with desperate courage, using tactics the aliens had never seen before. Lieutenant Sarah Kim piloted her fighter straight into a formation of enemy ships. Her weapons were weaker than theirs, but she used the city's tall buildings as cover. She dove between skyscrapers, rolled under bridges, and led the alien fighters into traps where other human pilots were waiting. "These humans fight like madmen," reported Commander Vextar to Admiral Kreshtar. "They use their own cities as weapons. They are not afraid to die." Chief Engineer Mary Torres worked frantically in the engine room of the Defiant. Pieces of destroyed Zephyrian fighters were brought aboard by salvage teams. Mary studied the alien technology with amazing speed. Within hours, she had figured out how their energy weapons worked. "Captain Clark, I can modify our weapons," she announced over the intercom. "Give me 12 hours and I can make our guns twice as powerful." "You have 6 hours," Captain Clark replied. "That is all the time we have." Mary and her team worked without rest. They took apart human weapons and alien technology, creating something new. Something that neither species had ever built before. Human creativity combined with alien science. The battle for London was even more intense. The Zephyrians expected the humans to evacuate the city and flee. Instead, they found every street defended. Human soldiers fought from buildings, sewers, and rooftops. When their weapons ran out, they made new ones from alien wreckage. Sergeant Mike Davis led a squad of infantry against an alien landing party. His men were armed with simple rifles that could barely scratch Zephyrian armor. But Mike had studied the alien equipment brought back by the Air Force. He knew their weak points. "Aim for the joints in their armor," he told his men. "Their technology is advanced, but they still need to move. Hit them where the armor bends." The human soldiers used guerrilla tactics that confused the aliens. They appeared from nowhere, struck hard, and disappeared before the enemy could respond. Every building became a fortress. Every intersection became a killing ground. In Tokyo, the aliens faced something they had never encountered before. The entire city had been turned into a trap. Hidden weapons emerged from subway tunnels. Skyscrapers revealed themselves to be disguised missile platforms. The humans had been preparing for this war long before it started. Dr. Amy Foster worked in an underground laboratory studying captured alien technology. Her team of scientists worked around the clock, trying to understand how the enemy weapons functioned. What they discovered amazed them. The alien technology is advanced, but it follows predictable patterns, Dr. Foster explained to the military. Leaders, they think in straight lines. They do not improvise like we do. We can use that against them. Admiral Kreshtar watched the battle reports with growing concern. His forces were winning, but the cost was terrible. The humans had already destroyed 12 Zephyrian vessels. Worse, they were learning and adapting faster than any species the Empire had ever fought. "Sir, the humans are using our own weapons against us," reported Captain Lexmore. "They have somehow modified their ships to fire plasma bolts. This should not be possible." The Admiral's 4 hands clenched into fists. How can primitives adapt so quickly? President Karen Webb stood in the White House Situation Room, watching the battle unfold on screens around the world. Her advisors urged her to negotiate, to find a peaceful solution. But Karen had read the reports about other worlds the aliens had conquered. She knew there would be no mercy. "Open a channel to all human forces," she ordered. "I want to address every soldier, every pilot, every citizen who is fighting." Her image appeared on screens across the planet and in space. Her voice reached every human defender, from the fighter pilots over New York to the infantry soldiers. In London's streets, "My fellow humans," she began, her voice strong and clear. "The aliens came here expecting to find easy prey. They thought we would surrender at the first sign of their power. They were wrong. We are not prey. We are predators. And they have just awakened something they do not understand." She paused, looking directly into the camera. "They picked the wrong species to mess with. We will not surrender. We will not retreat. We will fight until our last breath. And when the smoke clears, they will learn what it means to challenge humanity." The president's words spread across the planet like wildfire. Human forces that had been pushed back began to rally. Soldiers who had been considering retreat instead prepared for their next attack. The Battle of Mumbai showed the aliens just how dangerous humans could become. When Zephyrian ground forces captured the city center, they expected the remaining humans to flee. Instead, they found themselves surrounded by an entire population that had turned into warriors. Every citizen became a fighter. Old men with hunting rifles attacked alien patrols. Children carried messages between resistance groups. Women built bombs from household chemicals. The aliens held the buildings, but the humans owned the streets. Commander Zal Teth sent a desperate message to Admiral Kreshtar. "Sir, we control the military objectives, but we cannot control the population. They will not submit. Every human we capture is replaced by 2 more. They are like a virus that spreads and grows stronger." As the first day of the invasion ended, Admiral Kreshtar realized he had made a terrible mistake. The humans were not the easy conquest he had expected. They were something far more dangerous. They were a species that became stronger when attacked. And now they were angry. 3 weeks into the war, Admiral Kreshtar stared at the casualty reports with disbelief. His mighty fleet of over 200 ships had been reduced to fewer than 80 functional vessels. The humans were not just fighting back, they were winning. The invasion that should have taken days was now entering its 4th week. Every Zephyrian victory came at a terrible cost. The humans seemed to grow stronger with each battle, learning new tactics and developing better weapons at an impossible speed. Commander Steve Rogers led Earth Special Operations Team through the wreckage of a destroyed Zephyrian supply ship. His team moved like ghosts through the twisted metal corridors, searching for useful technology and information. "Carol, plant your charges on the fuel cells," Steve whispered to his demolitions expert. Carol Davis nodded and began placing small explosive devices on the alien power systems. "Nick, what do you have on their communication logs?" Steve asked his intelligence officer. Nick Adams looked up from the alien computer terminal he was accessing. "Their supply lines are stretched thin, Commander. They are getting desperate for replacement parts and ammunition. If we hit 3 more supply convoys, they will be in serious trouble." Steve smiled grimly. The aliens had superior technology, but they thought like conquerors, not like survivors. Humans knew how to turn every disadvantage into a weapon. Back on Earth, Dr. Amy Foster made a discovery that changed everything. Her research team had been studying captured Zephyrian technology for weeks. What they found was both amazing and terrifying. "The alien technology is incredibly advanced," she explained to the assembled military leaders. "But it has a fatal weakness. It is designed by a species that thinks in predictable patterns. They build everything the same way, following the same rules." General Patricia Stone leaned forward in her chair. "What does that mean for us, Doctor?" "It means we can do something they cannot," Dr. Amy replied. "We can improve their technology. We can take their designs and make them better. Their minds are limited by logic and tradition. Ours are not." She pointed to a screen showing technical diagrams. "Engineer Tony Wright has been working with the captured plasma weapons. He has found ways to increase their power by 30%, just by changing how they focus energy. The aliens never thought to try this because it goes against their engineering traditions." In the orbital shipyards above Earth, human workers labored around the clock to build new vessels. These were not purely human ships or purely alien ships. They were something new, hybrid vessels that combined human creativity with Zephyrian technology. Captain Lisa Grant watched her new ship take shape through the construction bay windows. The Retribution looked like no vessel that had ever been built. It had the sleek lines of a human destroyer, but the powerful weapons of a Zephyrian cruiser. More importantly, it had modifications that no alien engineer would ever think to make. "How long until she is ready?" Lisa asked the chief engineer. 2 more days, Captain," replied the engineer. The hybrid engines are tricky to calibrate. We are pushing alien technology beyond what it was designed to do. Good, Lisa said. That is exactly what I want. Admiral Kreshtar finally decided to review Captain Velinara's original warning report. He had ignored it during the planning phase, convinced that it was the product of an inexperienced officer's fear. Now as he read her words, he felt a chill run through his body. Every warning she had given was coming true. The humans did not surrender when faced with impossible odds. They did not break under pressure. Instead, they adapted and evolved, becoming more dangerous with each passing day. Computer, display current fleet status, the Admiral commanded. The holographic display showed the terrible truth. Red markers indicated destroyed ships. Yellow markers showed vessels too damaged to fight. Effectively, only a few dozen green markers remained, representing ships that were still fully operational. Computer, display human fleet status from 3 weeks ago. A new display appeared, showing Earth's defensive forces at the beginning of the war. Compared to the Zephyrian fleet, they had been pathetically small and weak. Computer, display current. Estimated human fleet strength. The Admiral's blood turned cold. Intelligence reports suggested that the humans now had more combat-ready vessels than the Zephyrians. Worse, the human ships were getting better while the alien ships were falling apart from constant battle damage. Captain Ben Clark stood on the bridge of the Defiant, now equipped with hybrid human-alien weapon systems. His ship had been rebuilt 3 times during the war, each time becoming more powerful. Chief Engineer Mary Torres had worked miracles with alien technology. "Captain, we are receiving a transmission from Earth Command," announced his communication officer. General Patricia Stone's face appeared on the main screen. "Captain Clark, how would you like to take the fight to the enemy?" Ben smiled. "What do you have in mind, General?" Intelligence reports indicate a major Zephyrian supply depot in the asteroid belt. Commander Rogers has provided us with detailed information about their logistics network. We want you to lead a strike force and destroy it. How many ships can you give me? Ben asked. 12 of our new hybrid vessels, plus support craft. Captain Grant will be your second in command aboard the Retribution. Ben nodded. For weeks, Earth's forces had been fighting defensively, protecting their homeworld from invasion. Now they were ready to take the offensive. Dr. Amy Foster made another breakthrough in her laboratory. Physicist Dr. Laura Hill had been studying human brain patterns compared to captured Zephyrian neural scans. What they discovered explained why humans were winning the war. Human minds work differently than alien minds, Dr. Lavra explained to the research team. The Zephyrians are highly logical and intelligent, but they think in patterns. When they encounter a problem, they search their memory for a solution that worked before. And humans? Asked Dr. Amy. Humans create new solutions, Dr. Lavra replied. When we face a problem we have never seen before, we invent an answer. We combine ideas in ways that logical minds would never consider. We make intuitive leaps that bypass traditional thinking. This explained why human engineers could improve alien technology so quickly. It explained why human tactics confused alien commanders. It explained why humanity was not just surviving the invasion, but winning it. Engineer Tony Wright demonstrated this human advantage perfectly. Working with captured Zephyrian shield generators, he had created a defensive system that was stronger and more efficient than the original alien design. The aliens had built their shields to deflect energy weapons. Tony had modified them to absorb and redirect that energy back at attackers. The aliens think like engineers, Tony explained to his team. They build things to work exactly as designed. We think like inventors. We build things to work better than designed. Commander Steve Rogers returned from another successful raid on Zephyrian supply lines. His team had captured intact alien navigation computers that revealed the locations of enemy bases throughout the solar system. "General Stone, we have a complete map of their positions," Steve reported. "They have supply depots on 3 asteroids, a repair facility on one of Jupiter's moons, and a communication relay near Saturn." General Stone studied the intelligence data. "Can we hit all of them?" "Yes, but we will need coordination," Steve replied. "If we strike them all at the same time, we can cripple their entire operation in this system." The trap that Earth had become was finally revealing itself completely. The Zephyrians had come expecting to conquer a primitive world. Instead, they had given humanity the tools and motivation to become a galactic power. Admiral Kreshtar received reports that other alien species were watching the war with great interest. The mighty Zephyrian Empire, conqueror of worlds, was being defeated by a species that had barely achieved space travel. If the humans could win, what did that mean for the Empire's other enemies? The Admiral realized that this war was no longer about conquering Earth. It was about the survival of the Zephyrian Empire itself. And the humans were just getting started. Admiral Frank Miller stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the stars through the massive viewport. 6 weeks ago, he had been defending Earth from alien invaders. Now he commanded a fleet of 60 hybrid vessels, hunting Zephyrian ships. Throughout the solar system, Operation Prometheus had begun 3 days earlier. Human forces were no longer fighting to protect their homeworld. They were hunting down every alien ship they could find, destroying supply lines and capturing advanced technology. "Admiral, we have located another enemy convoy," reported his tactical officer. 4 transport ships and 2 escorts, heading toward the Jupiter supply depot. Admiral Miller smiled coldly. "Signal Captain Grant. Tell her to take her task force and intercept them. No survivors." Captain Lisa Grant received the order aboard her ship Retribution. Her crew had become legends among human forces for their ability to appear anywhere and strike without warning. Navigation Officer Carl Brown had learned to use captured alien star charts better than the aliens themselves. "Set course to intercept," Lisa ordered. "Diana, prepare our new weapon systems." Weapons specialist Deanna Ross grinned as she powered up the hybrid weapon systems. Human engineers had taken Zephyrian plasma cannons and modified them with human innovations. The result was devastating. Weapons that could punch through alien shields like they were made of paper. The Asterisk, Retribution Asterisk, and her escort ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel directly in front of the Zephyrian convoy. The alien ships had no time to react before human weapons tore them apart. "Another successful hunt," Carl Brown announced as the last enemy ship exploded. But Captain Lisa was already thinking ahead. "Take us to coordinates 77 Alpha. Intelligence reports suggest there is a Zephyrian command ship hiding in that sector." Meanwhile, Admiral Kreshtar sat in his command center, staring at reports that filled him with dread. His once mighty fleet now numbered fewer than 40 ships. Worse, the humans were no longer content to fight defensively. They were actively hunting his forces across the entire solar system. "Sir, we have lost contact with Convoy 77, reported his communication officer. "That is the 5th convoy destroyed this week." Admiral Kreshtar's 4 hands trembled with rage and fear. How can primitives be so effective against our superior technology? The answer came from an unexpected source. Captain Velinara, the scout who had originally warned about the humans, stood at the back of the command center. She had been recalled from patrol duty to help plan defensive strategies. "Admiral, with respect, they are no longer primitives," she said quietly. "They have learned everything we know, and they have improved upon it. They think in ways we cannot predict or counter." "Impossible," Admiral Kreshtar snapped. "They are using our own technology against us." "No, sir," Captain Velinara replied. "They are using better technology. Technology that we built, but they Made superior. Dr. Amy Foster's research team had indeed made the alien technology better. Working with captured Zephyrian computers, they had discovered that alien programming was rigid and inflexible. Human programmers had rewritten the software to be more adaptive and creative. Engineer Tony Wright demonstrated this breakthrough to Earth's military leaders. "Watch this," he said, activating a captured alien fighter. The ship's computer responded to commands with lightning speed, performing maneuvers that no Zephyrian pilot had ever attempted. The artificial intelligence had been enhanced with human intuition and creativity. "How is this possible?" asked General Patricia Stone. "Alien minds. Think in straight lines," Tony explained. "Their computers are programmed the same way. We taught the computers to think like humans, to be unpredictable, creative, and adaptive." Commander Steve Rogers led his special operations team on their most daring mission yet. Intelligence had located a major Zephyrian command and control center built inside a large asteroid. Destroying it would blind the alien fleet and make them easy targets for human hunters. "Remember, we need to capture their communication equipment intact," Steve told his team as they prepared for the assault. "Dr. Foster's people need to study their long-range transmission systems." The assault began when human engineers used captured alien mining equipment to drill directly into the asteroid. The Zephyrians never expected an attack from below. Steve's team emerged inside their command center before the aliens knew what was happening. The battle was brief but intense. Human soldiers, equipped with hybrid weapons and armor, proved superior to alien defenders who had never faced such creative tactics. Within 2 hours, the asteroid base was in human hands. "Nick, what did you find in their computers?" Steve asked his intelligence officer. Nick Adams looked up from the alien terminal with excitement. "Commander, this is incredible. We have complete star charts showing Zephyrian territory. We know the location of their homeworld." Captain Ben Clark received new orders that would have seemed impossible just weeks earlier. Earth Command wanted him to lead a scouting mission beyond the solar system to gather intelligence on Zephyrian colonies and military bases. "How many ships do I get?" Ben asked Admiral Miller. 20 of our best hybrid vessels," came the reply. "Your mission is to map their territory and identify targets for future operations." Chief Engineer Mary Torres worked frantically to prepare the ships for interstellar travel. Human scientists had improved alien faster-than-light engines, making them more efficient and reliable than the original designs. "Captain, we can travel twice as fast as Zephyrian ships now," Mary reported. "We can reach their nearest colony in 6 days." The Emperor of the Zephyrian Empire finally received Admiral Krushtar's desperate reports. Emperor Zelfkar had ruled for over 3 centuries, conquering hundreds of worlds. Never in his long reign had he faced such a crisis. "How can a single primitive world threaten our entire empire?" the Emperor demanded of his advisors. "Your Majesty, they are no longer primitive," replied his military commander. "They have taken our technology and made it better. Their ships are superior to ours. Their weapons are more powerful. Their tactics are unpredictable." Emperor Zelfkar refused to believe what he was hearing. "Send reinforcements to Admiral Krushtar. Send our reserve fleets. Send everything we have if necessary. Your Majesty, our other enemies are watching this war closely," warned his intelligence minister. "If we move too many ships to Earth, we risk rebellion in our other territories." The Emperor's face darkened with rage. "Then we must end this quickly. Prepare the Doomsday Fleet." Dr. Amy Foster made another breakthrough that would change the war completely. Working with physicist Dr. Laura Hill, she had discovered how to enhance human minds using alien neural technology. "We can increase human reaction time and processing speed by 40%, Dr. Lavra explained to the research team. "Pilots and soldiers enhanced with this technology will be superior to any alien warrior." The first volunteer was Captain Lisa Grant. The procedure was experimental and dangerous, but Lisa was willing to take the risk. When she emerged from the treatment, her eyes glowed with new intelligence and awareness. "How do you feel?" asked Dr. Amy. Lisa smiled. "Like I can see everything. Every pattern, every possibility, every weakness in their tactics." She paused. "The aliens are not just going to lose this war. They are going to be completely destroyed." Admiral Kreshtar received his final communication from the Emperor. Reinforcements were coming, but they would take weeks to arrive. In the meantime, he was ordered to hold his position and prevent the humans from escaping the solar system. "Sir, we have a problem," reported his tactical officer. "Human ships have been detected leaving the solar system. They are heading toward our outer colonies." Admiral Kreshtar felt his heart stop beating for a moment. The humans were no longer content to defend their homeworld or hunt Zephyrian forces in their own system. They were taking the war to Zephyrian territory. Captain Ben Clark's scouting force arrived at the first Zephyrian colony 3 days ahead of schedule. The improved engines had performed even better than expected. What they found was a lightly defended world with obsolete weapons and inexperienced crews. "It seems the Empire has been sending all their good ships and crews to Earth," Ben observed. "Their colonies are virtually defenseless." The humans had become the hunters. The Zephyrians, once the galaxy's greatest predators, were now the prey. And Earth's children were spreading to the stars, carrying with them weapons and knowledge that would reshape the galaxy forever. The trap had been completely sprung. The aliens had not conquered Earth. They had given Earth the tools to conquer them. Admiral Frank Miller stood on the bridge of his flagship Nemesis, watching Zephyr Prime grow larger on the main screen. The alien homeworld looked beautiful from space, with its purple oceans and silver cities. Soon those cities would be burning. Behind him stretched the largest human fleet ever assembled. 150 hybrid vessels, each one crewed by humans who had learned to use alien technology better than the aliens themselves. These ships were no longer human or Zephyrian. They were something new and terrifying. "All ships report." "Ready for battle," announced Captain Ben Clark from his position as fleet coordinator. His ship Defiant had been rebuilt so many times that it was now more powerful than most alien dreadnoughts. "Admiral," Miller opened a communication channel to the entire fleet. "Today we finish what they started. They came to our world expecting easy prey. Instead, they found predators. Let us show them the price of threatening humanity." On Zephyr Prime, Emperor Zelfkar watched the approaching human fleet with growing terror. His home defense force numbered over 500 ships, the largest concentration of military power in the Empire. It should have been enough to destroy any enemy. But these were not ordinary enemies. "Your Majesty, the human fleet is using tactical formations we have never seen before," reported his military commander. "Their ships are moving in patterns that make no logical sense." "Attack them," the Emperor ordered. "Destroy every last human ship." The battle for Zephyr Prime began with the largest space engagement in galactic history. Hundreds of ships fought across the entire star system, their weapons lighting up the darkness like miniature suns. But the Zephyrians quickly discovered that all their advantages had disappeared. Human ships were faster, their weapons were stronger, and their tactics were impossible to predict or counter. Captain Lisa Grant led the first assault wave in her ship, Retribution. Her enhanced mind could process battle information faster than any alien commander. She could see patterns and opportunities that others missed completely. "Carl, take us through their formation," she ordered her navigation officer. "Diana, target their command ship." The Retribution dove through the Zephyrian battle line like a shark through a school of fish. Weapons specialist Deanna Ross fired hybrid plasma cannons that tore through alien shields with devastating effect. The Zephyrian flagship exploded in a ball of fire that could be seen from the planet's surface. Dr. Amy Foster, coordinated the scientific aspects of the invasion from Earth. Her teams had developed weapons and countermeasures that Zephyrian science could not match. Human creativity had turned alien technology into something beyond alien understanding. Admiral Miller, we are detecting Zephyrian reinforcements approaching from the outer system, she reported over the communication link. How many ships? Admiral Miller asked. 200 additional vessels, including their newest dreadnoughts. Admiral Miller smiled grimly. Signal Captain Rogers. Tell him to begin Phase 2. Commander Steve Rogers had been waiting in the asteroid belt with a special strike force. His mission was to capture the Emperor alive and seize the Zephyrian government centers intact. Human intelligence wanted to study alien administrative systems and technology. Move out, Steve ordered his ships. Target the capital city. Remember, we want prisoners and information. Steve's enhanced soldiers were the most feared warriors in the galaxy. They combined human determination with alien technology and superhuman abilities granted by Dr. Foster's enhancement procedures. No alien force had ever been able to stop them. The battle above Zephyr Prime turned into a complete disaster for the defending fleet. Human ships appeared and disappeared like ghosts, striking from impossible angles and vanishing before the aliens could respond. Engineer Tony Wright's modifications had made human vessels so advanced that they seemed to defy the laws of physics. Captain Ben Clark led a group of ships in a maneuver that no alien commander would ever attempt. He flew his formation directly into the gravity well of Zephyr Prime's largest moon, using the gravitational field to accelerate his ships to incredible speeds. The Zephyrians had never seen anything like it. Their tactics make no sense, reported a Zephyrian captain to his admiral. They use gravity wells as weapons. They use asteroid fields as cover. They fight like the universe itself is their ally. Emperor Zelfkar watched his empire's greatest fleet being destroyed by humans, who had supposedly been primitive just months earlier. Ship after ship exploded under human fire. His most experienced admirals were being outfought by creatures they had dismissed as inferior. How is this possible? The Emperor whispered. His science advisor provided the terrifying answer. Your Majesty, they do not think like us. When we encounter a problem, we search for a logical solution. When they encounter a problem, they create a new solution. They make the impossible possible. Commander Steve Rogers and his strike team landed in the Imperial capital just as the space battle reached its climax. The city's defenses had been designed to stop conventional invasions, but there was nothing conventional about human tactics. Steve's soldiers moved through the city like a force of nature. They used captured alien teleportation devices to appear inside defended buildings. They turned the city's own defensive systems against the defenders. Within hours, they had captured the Imperial Palace. Emperor Zelfkar was found hiding in his private chambers, surrounded by his most loyal guards. But loyalty meant nothing against humans who had been enhanced beyond normal limitations. Steve's team overwhelmed the guards in seconds. Emperor Zelfkar, Steve said as he removed his helmet. I am Commander Rogers of Earth. You are now our prisoner. The Emperor stared at the human with disbelief. This cannot be happening. We are the greatest empire in the galaxy. We have conquered hundreds of worlds. You were the greatest empire, Steve corrected. Now you are history. The space battle ended with the complete destruction of the Zephyrian fleet. Admiral Miller counted fewer than 20 alien ships that had managed to escape. The rest had been destroyed or captured by human forces. President Karen Webb addressed the human fleet from Earth. Her image appeared on every ship's main screen, her voice reaching every human warrior who had fought to protect their species. People of Earth, she began. Today we have won more than a battle. We have won our place among the stars. The aliens came to our world expecting to find victims. Instead, they found the future rulers of the galaxy. Dr. Amy Foster's research teams began studying captured Zephyrian technology in databases. What they found was a complete map of the galaxy, showing the locations of thousands of alien worlds and civilizations. We now have access to technologies that will advance human development by centuries, Dr. Foster reported to the Earth government. We can explore the entire galaxy. We can establish colonies on any world we choose. Captain Lisa Grant stood on the bridge of the Retribution, looking down at the conquered alien homeworld. Her enhanced mind was already planning humanity's next moves. There were other alien empires out there, other species that might threaten Earth. "Carl, set course for the Andrax Confederacy," she ordered. "Intelligence reports suggest they might be planning their own invasion of human space." "Should we request reinforcements?" Carl asked. Lisa smiled. "We are the reinforcements." Engineer Tony Wright worked in the captured alien research facilities, studying technologies that the Zephyrians had developed over thousands of years. Human scientists were already improving upon designs that had taken aliens centuries to perfect. "We can build ships that are 10 times more powerful than anything the galaxy has ever seen," Tony reported to Admiral Miller. "Give me 6 months, and I will give you a fleet that can conquer any enemy." The final scene took place in a prison cell deep beneath the ruins of the Imperial Palace. Captain Velinara, the scout who had originally warned about humanity's danger, sat across from Commander Steve Rogers. "Why do your people fight so fiercely?" she asked. "You have already won. Why do you continue to expand and conquer?" Steve looked at her with calm, steady eyes. "Because we are not fighting for conquest. We are fighting for survival. And humans who fight for survival do not stop until every threat is eliminated." Velinara felt a chill run through her body. "What does that mean?" "It means that every species in this galaxy now has a choice," Steve replied. "They can join us as allies, or they can be removed as threats. There is no third option. The trap had been completely sprung. Earth was no longer a world under attack. It was the center of a growing human empire that stretched across the stars. The aliens had not conquered a primitive planet. They had awakened a sleeping giant that would reshape the galaxy forever. Human colonies were being established on former Zephyrian worlds. Human fleets were exploring distant star systems. Human scientists were developing technologies that made alien science look primitive. The age of alien domination was over. The age of humanity had begun. And in the depths of space, other alien civilizations watched with growing fear as Earth's children spread to the stars, carrying with them the human gifts of creativity, determination, and an absolute refusal to accept defeat.